Ah, the dreaded check engine light. We've all been there. It pops on, stares you in the face, and the code reader gives you P0811. So, what in the world does that mean? Well, don't worry. This explainer is going to be your step-by-step guide to figuring this thing out. Let's get right into it.
So you have the code, but let's be real. A code is just a symptom, right? It's not the actual diagnosis. The real question is, what do you do now? I mean, where do you even start? We're going to break that down and turn all that confusion into a really clear plan of action.
All right, first things first, we got to learn to speak the car's language. Before we can even think about fixing anything, we need to know exactly what this P0811 code is trying to tell us.
Okay, so at its very core, code P0811 means your car's brain, the engine control module, or ECM, sees a major disagreement. It's looking at how fast the engine is spinning and comparing it to how fast the transmission is spinning. And it's seeing that the engine is going way faster. It's a mismatch, and the computer knows that's just not right.
Now, this difference in speed isn't just some random error. It actually has a specific name, and that name points us directly to the heart of the problem. The official term is excessive clutch A slippage. It sounds kind of technical, but all it means is that the ECM has logged this specific fault. The engine is making power, but for some reason, that power isn't getting transferred all the way to the transmission to make the wheels go. There's a disconnect, a slip, happening somewhere in the system.
Here's a really simple way to picture it. Imagine you're trying to run full speed on a big sheet of ice. Your legs are the engine. They're moving like crazy, right? But the ice keeps that energy from actually moving you forward. That is exactly what your car is feeling. Lots of engine effort, but not enough grip to get that power to the wheels.
Okay, so we know the crime, excessive slippage. Now, just like a good detective, we need to figure out who the culprit is. It's time to line up the usual suspects that cause a P0811 code.
Our investigation points to 4 primary possibilities here. First, it could be a faulty crankshaft position sensor. That's the thing that tells the computer how fast the engine is spinning. Or it could be a mechanical failure, like a damaged transmission damper, maybe a problem with the input shaft connecting everything, or just, a plain old worn-out clutch. So this is where we get really practical. We have our list of suspects, and now we need a solid strategy to figure out which one is the guilty party. Think of this as your diagnostic roadmap, a clear, logical path you can follow.
Listen, before you touch a single tool, you have to start right here. The crankshaft position sensor, the CKP, is responsible for reporting engine speed. If that sensor is feeding the computer bad information, the computer might think there's slippage when there really isn't. So you always check for other codes related to that CKP sensor first. Trust me, this one step could save you a world of headache.
All right, so let's say there are no other CKP codes. Your entire diagnostic path now comes down to the answer to one very simple question. Can you get the engine to start? This is the critical fork in the road, and it's going to help us narrow down our list of suspects in a big way. Believe it or not, the answer to that one question tells you almost everything you need to know. If the engine starts right up but dot code comes back, you should focus all your attention on that CKP sensor or its wiring. It's probably giving you faulty info. But if the engine just won't start, but you can hear the generator spinning, well, that's a massive clue pointing directly to a failed transmission damper.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We've walked through the diagnostic path, so now let's clearly match up each potential cause with its specific solution.
Think of this chart as your go-to cheat sheet. If your diagnosis pointed to the CKP sensor, the fix is to repair that sensor or its wiring. Simple. If the engine didn't start, you're almost certainly replacing the transmission damper. And of course, this covers our other suspects too. A damaged input shaft needs to be inspected and repaired. And a worn-out clutch, well, that just needs to be replaced. Now, it's really important to remember that while that engine start test is fantastic for finding the 2 most common culprits, you can't totally forget about our other suspects. If you've ruled out the sensor and the damper, your investigation then needs to turn to the physical parts of the transmission, like that input shaft or the clutch itself.
So, there you have it. A really confusing code has been transformed into a clear, straightforward diagnostic plan. You know what the problem means, you know the most likely causes, and now you have a logical roadmap to find the solution. The question isn't, what's wrong with my car anymore? Now it's, what's my first step? You've got this.